else if I press record? Fuck! Anyway, hey guys, welcome back to the Motorcycle Workshop. In today's episode, we're going to do a rundown of all the shit that needs to get done to the Panther build, so I can really get my ducks in a row and understand what I need to do and what I need to focus on to get the thing finished. It's been quite a few weeks since I've touched this bike really, so it's a good opportunity just before I start getting into it over the next few months, just to be clear as to what I want out of it, what is a priority, what's maybe not so much of a priority. So stay tuned, it should be a fairly interesting episode, I hope. Alright guys, right from the outset I always knew that this bike was going to be a step up in terms of my own skills and what I can do on a bike, and also just really what I want to get out of a bike. I hope that makes sense. And so the Scrambler, yes, brilliant opportunity to learn how to take an engine to bits, put it back together, get it running. Still bits on it that I'm not happy with that I'd like to sort, but I knew that this Panther build was going to be an opportunity to really take my time with it, with less of a condensed time frame, and really just get into the nitty gritty of the things I would like to do as part of building a motorbike. Some of that's product development, some of that's not just going out and buying everything, sticking it on and being done. I think this bike could probably have been done by now if that was the way I wanted to do it, but incidentally it's been a lot slower because of the things that I want to do on the build. Mainly things that test my skills, things that I don't really have an understanding of but I want to learn. So things like switch gear. Oh shit, try not to drop it. Things like switch gear, which currently designing. Things like rear lights, which I could go and buy, but I see there's potential opportunities to maybe try and commercialise things. That may fall flat in its face, I don't really care. It's a good opportunity just to sit and research and learn a lot of things about areas of a bike that I find interesting. So yes, riding them, having a ripping bike that you can get out and about on is good, but for me this is a canvas. This is an opportunity to, I guess, put my creative ideas and things that I work in the oil and gas industry. I have an idea that for certain things that I can solve, that it's not just a case of saying, oh, let's just design this on CAD and then get a machine shop to set it and then get someone to run it in their well, their multi-million-pound well. It's not going to happen, and that typically comes with a lot of investment, things that you just say, right, if I feel properly strongly about this idea, then I'll quit my job and go and chase that. And I don't want to quit my job yet, but I'd quite like to design things and have people buy them, and a set of switchgear is really quite basic. It's more the design element and making sure that's right before I get it's a product that potentially someone would like to buy. And that's the ethos. That's what I'm thinking. Is like, look, these are things that people may buy, may not buy, but for me, it's a good chance to get stuck into product development with a fairly low cost of outlay, my own time, some prototypes and everything else. And so anyway, that's why this bike's maybe taking a while, because it's a platform for me to practice and learn all these things on. So right from the outset, yeah, I was always going to be quite ambitious. I wanted a custom exhaust. So where's the custom exhaust at? Right now it's currently sat on my workbench. Not finished yet, but I literally just ordered more welding material this morning. Some 1mm stainless, some 1.6mm gas lenses and everything else that will allow me to just get after this with a little bit more accuracy, based on the feedback that some really helpful people have given me through Instagram and other sources. I'm quite confident now. All the work that I've been doing over the summer, building different shop stools, building different things, has hopefully, I feel more confident in tackling this job. So exhaust is going to get done shortly, so that's why this bike's up in the workbench at the moment. So before I got the bike on the workbench, some of the things that took time to get up there, I needed to make a wheel chock. I needed to build the workbench in the first place. So now that I've got all this and I've got my bike next to me, I can just sit next to it and go, right, the line of this exhaust isn't quite right, let's cut this bit off and angle it and then try it again. So that should hopefully allow me a good place to just have the exhaust on and off as I'm TIG welding the whole thing together and making any minor adjustments. So next few weeks it's going to be a focus on that. Quite looking forward to it. I find welding really therapeutic. There's the pure focus you need at that task at that point in time. It's just really, whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad, it's a good opportunity just to switch off altogether and do some welding. So that is going to get done. With that, there'll be some mounting plates that need to be created to hold the exhaust in place. My good friend Gus has just got hold of a CNC plasma cutter, so got some ideas, thinking that we could potentially utilise that to cut some 2mm stainless and make some mounting bracketry as well, and just make the whole lot really neat. So out with the exhaust. Front end of the bike. Now that was a bit of a... These things cost money. All these things cost money. I'm preaching to the choir here, but if I want to go with an R1 front end or an R6 front end or something like that, yes, that would be cool. £300, £400, £500 worth of additional bits that go on the front of the bike. However, good opportunity to learn how to fit an old style front wheel so I can keep the look to a newer, what kind of spacers and everything I need, and that would be cool. But in reality, I think I came to the decision that I'm going to keep the original suspension set up, maybe look to run some uprated brakes off a different bike, use some uprated internals and everything else. I kind of want to sort of design my own top clamps, triple clamps and everything else. And when I say design, I've got a whole host of parts that I've just taken dimensions drawn up in CAD, and they've just kind of sat there for a while because there's certain bits and pieces that need to be done to allow me to progress these parts. So for the triple clamps, they're sat. I don't know how to proceed. I should probably get a couple 3D printed, and there's a few things there that just need sorted out, like pressing the stem in, what's the tolerance fit and everything else. And so initially a lot of that was dangling on, do I change the forks, do I not change the forks? So I've made a decision that I'm not changing the forks, so therefore the diameter of the tubes within the what do you call them, the triple clamps, top and bottom clamps, they stay the same. Sticking on the front end, so that, again, another task that needs sorted. It'll work along in the background. There'll be a YouTube video that follows and updates that soon enough. So the front end, I also wanted to, I guess, have quite an unusual front end on the bike. The bike's called Panther. I wanted to take inspiration from the Black Panther animal in the animal kingdom. I speak about this in an earlier video, but the most badass creatures, I think, all black apart from these yellowy eyes, and that was kind of something I wanted to incorporate into the build. The initial iteration looked, I wasn't very happy with it. It was just a bit one-dimensional and everything else. And there's a guy, John Beckett on Instagram, was kind of saying you should do something more with this, and I was like, I agreed with him, to be honest. So I went back to the drawing board and came up with this design you see here, which is just a bit more, I think it's got more. Initially I was trying to go to first principles and say, ooh, what kind of light can I get? Can I get this? Can I get that? And then ultimately I just reached out to Debolics, I can't remember how you pronounce it. The guys in England, they do some really cool bikes, but one of the features they do is some quite nice fairings and light displays, and I kind of just said, look, what projectors do you use? The biggest issue was that a lot of the things you have are either lights that don't have a high and low beam, or they're just a bit shit. So this guy came back and said, yeah, no, these ones are good, they're actually UK compliant, you can have a high and a low beam. So building my bike front end around these lights just kind of started to accelerate this part of the project. So biggest thing, I don't know, same deal, built in CAD, that's fine, get a 3D routed, so it's going to be made out of carbon fibre, but I'm going to get a 3D routed mould, speak to a local kind of 3D printing model shop, CNC type engineering house down the road from me. I'm going to try and get in touch with them and see, can we get a 3D mould routed out so I can then utilise that. But what I'm quite confused with at the moment is how to take the thing and shove it on the bike. Do I mount it to the top and bottom of my triple clamps? Do I mount it to the side of the forks instead? I don't know yet. So again, another thing that needs solved. Moving on, the bike, we've got the side panels. It's the side panels I want to put in. Very similar idea where I've designed these side panels, which I guess I like the look of them. I want them in place. I might edit them still, but I think I've got a final design, or a good enough design that I can take as a prototype. Same deal, needs a mold built, needs me to then figure out how I can get that mounted to the bike itself so I can put on mounting tabs and everything else. So, but that'll be a quite cool one. The seat needs figured out, the rear mudguards, the front mudguards, they all need figured out. Same deal. So there's all these things where, yes, I could just buy, and it's probably my own worst enemy because these things could take a hell of a lot less time, but that's all part of the learning for me. The experience is, I remember that now I've got a really good understanding of how carbon fibre works, or how not to do things with carbon fibre. I now got a good understanding of product development. If I want to design my own or any carbon fibre mudguards because I've made my own, is that a potential opportunity to sell things? Maybe. Do I want to do it? Who the hell knows? I don't know, but I'd like to try and learn that and go down that learning process. So there's a few elements of the bike that will be made of carbon fibre, and that's exactly why these things are maybe taking a little bit longer. So ceramic coating, I want to ceramic coat my carburetors black to tie in with the theme of the bike. I want to ceramic coat quite a lot of the bike, and whether I make the investment and do that myself or whether I outsource it, not entirely sure yet. I've had a few discussions with someone locally that may make that a reality. So again, something it's just kind of sat there waiting, but as soon as I get the green light, that's something that will just progress quite quickly. What else have we got? Oh, the rear lights. The rear lights at the back, the brake indicators, the amount of me being a cheapskate and not wanting to buy Kellerman's and then ultimately spending a lot more money trying to design my own, it's for me, it's another problem I want to solve. So right now I'm currently waiting on reflectors, lenses, even kind of purchased a few different ideas for different LEDs. There's going to be a point where I speak to the experts soon, but ultimately I'm enjoying this dicking around with lights as well. So I did a light LED video a few weeks ago, so that's not progressed a huge amount, but so ultimately, yes, there's a lot of things that need done, and it can be quite overwhelming, and there's a lot of things that are quite big projects in their own right which are preventing this from really progressing. But we got the bike started, we're fairly happy with it, the way it started and sounded. If I end up ceramic coating a lot of bits and the engine's going to have to come out anyway, then I'll have a look at that. But electrics needs finished off, but that's not going to get done until we're a bit further down the line. So yeah, I just thought I'd share an update. There's a lot of things going on, but now I think I'm in a place where I can just start making some headway, because before I've not really touched it for a while. There's been other things ongoing. The Scrambler's been getting tuned. I've actually bought another bike which you may or may not see in the background, and there's an idea with that as well, which is I'll share at a later date. Probably not customizing it, different kind of business idea, but I'll share that at a later date. So yeah, so we're progressing slowly but surely. We're just in almost coming up to the middle of October now. I'd like to try and get this bike to the show season next year, and then go from there. So we've got a lot of months, but that's going to disappear. I just thought I'd share what's happening because yeah, for me, speaking about that makes it feel a lot better. There's a lot of stuff I need to do, but I'm confident we can get after it. I think primary interest will be the exhaust over the next little while. That's a big tick if I can get that out of the way, and then just working the theory for how we get things mounted on the bike. That's probably going to be a big one as well. So like I said, short and sweet for me anyway. Hopefully this gives you guys a bit of an update as to how things are progressing. If you have any questions at all, let me know. If you got any comments, let me know. Yes, I'm aware this could probably be done a lot quicker, and I add a lot of complexities to my own builds, but that's all part of my learning process. Unsure what to put this out to the folk that watch this. Who's of a similar ilk? Do people like solving these problems, or are you happy just to go? Don't get me wrong, either way is absolutely fine. I just want to see what makes people tick. Is it the problem solving nature? Is it the uniqueness that you get out of a build? For me, I think that might be what it is. If I can do this, I'm the only one that's got this. Yeah, let me know in the comments. But until then, have a good day, and we'll get an update soon, hopefully on this one. So take it easy, guys.